This is CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Welcome to CCS Sportscast. I'm your host, Sebby Gibbs. This week we had a lot of exciting football. Divisional round, a lot of games that were close, a lot of games that were not very close. One of the games that was not very close, Seahawks 49ers. 41-6, Seattle ended up winning. Kenneth Walker absolutely dominated that one. 19 carries for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 3 receptions for 29 yards. And also, the Seattle defense just dominated the entire game. They had 2 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception, turning the ball over multiple times, getting turnovers, special teams, return kick, first play of the game for Rashid Shaheed. And Seattle just was dominating the entire game, and that's why they won by 35. Moving on to the next one, Texans-Patriots. This game was pretty sloppy for C.J. Stroud and the Texans as he throws 4 picks, 2 to Carlton Davis, 1 to Marcus Jones, and 1 to Craig Woodson. And you can't win football games when you're playing that sloppy. 4 picks, lots of turnovers in this game. Though the Texans' defense still plays very well. They got to Drake May 5 times, 4 forced fumbles on Drake May, had him throw a pick and recovered 2 of those fumbles. So there's 8 total turnovers in this game. Patriots did end up winning, though, 28-16. But Patriots and Drake May really haven't had a tough playoff schedule. Had to play the number 7 Chargers, Texans with C.J. Stroud throwing 4 picks, and then next week they have to go to Denver with Jarrett Stidham starting at quarterback. And you know the controversy, with Patriots not playing anyone in the regular season because their strength of schedule is so easy. Patriots are really not playing anyone that great. So we'll see how they do against the Broncos defense. But it looks like that the Patriots have an easy path to the Super Bowl at this point. Next, we have Rams and Bears. This one was super, super close. Came down to the wire in overtime. 20-17, Rams ended up winning with a game-winning field goal. Caleb Williams does throw 3 picks in this game, yet he plays very, very well. At the end of regulation, there's a broken play where Caleb Williams scrambles from the 10-yard line to the 40-yard line, throws it up to Cole Kmet to tie the game, bring it to overtime with 18 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Kyron Williams had 2 touchdowns. Matt Stafford played very well, I think, and the Rams defense also played very well, making Caleb Williams turn the ball over multiple times. Rams move on to go play the Seahawks. So, divisional round or conference championships round looking like Rams, Seahawks, and Patriots, Broncos. So, that's going to be a great round. Some more things to add. Let's see. John Harbaugh gets hired by the New York Giants. 5-year deal. Stefanski also gets hired by the Falcons. So there's been some action, head coaching positions. And there's more. Sean McDermott got fired this morning, Monday morning, as Buffalo Bills without a coach. So they will look to find someone, as we will talk about that more next segment. Why don't we predict that next round? So if we could pull up the Super Bowl bracket. So we have New England, Denver, LA Rams versus Seattle Seahawks. I think in the NFC, LA is going to win, and I think New England's going to win. I think it's going to be a pretty good Super Bowl against the two MVP favorites. And yeah, so we will see you on the next segment of CCS Sportscast, where we'll talk about Bills Broncos, some controversy in that one, and talk about more of the head coaching situation.
At Wegmans, we've crafted our new sandwiches with layers and layers of deliciousness. Each one is made fresh with our very best ingredients, like hearty breads made with grains from near our stores, premium cheeses, and freshly carved meats. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for sandwiches that are endlessly good.
Welcome to Lakewood, New York, where community and adventure meet by the water's edge. Stroll our farmers market, sip something special at bag and string wine merchants, and discover local shops that feel like home. From sailing and pickleball to concerts in the park, every season brings a reason to gather. Lakewood isn't just a destination, it's a way of life. Discover it for yourself. Lakewood, where good times live.
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
Yes. This segment, we're going to be talking about Bills Broncos. So, sadly, the Bills end up losing in this one. Jamestown, a lot of Bills fans, big Bills community. 33-30, very close, goes into overtime. But at the start of the game, I will say Josh Allen played very, very sloppy. 4 turnovers I believe 2 in the first, 2 in the second half, with Nick Bonito stripping Allen twice and him throwing 2 picks. Bills had 5 total turnovers on the day. So you can't win a game with that much turnovers. And the AFC teams turning over the ball that much, with the Texans, the Bills, you just can't turn over the ball that many times and expect to win a football game. Bo Nix, fractured ankle, out for the remainder of playoffs, so Jarrett Stidham will take over for the Broncos. Their backup would be Sam Ehlinger, and then they picked up quarterback Ben DiNucci to be their emergency third-string QB. Jeez, can't talk. But I will say in this one, refs controversial throughout the game. As in overtime, refs rewarded Denver 47 yards. Trey White pass interference last play of the game before the kick, and Taron Johnson pass interference, which were very questionable calls. Trey White looked like he was going for the tackle to knock out, and Taron Johnson barely touched his receiver. So I would say that really cost the Bills the game at the end. In another very questionable call, Josh Allen threw an interception, targeted Brandon Cooks. And in this play, it looked like Brandon Cooks comes down with the ball, hits his knee on the ground, and gets hit with the defender, meaning he's down. But if that was not the case, the NFL rulebook does state if a pass is caught simultaneously by two eligible opponents and both players retain it, the ball belongs to the passers. So either way, it should have been Bill's ball there. Yeah, there's the pick, and it looks like knees down, he has the ball, and he's getting touched by the defender. And Sean McDermott in the end of the game press conference agrees and says that's not how it should have went down, and it really shouldn't have. That was not a great call. It should have been Bill's ball, and Bills probably should have won that game. Also, more news with Sean McDermott. Bills fire McDermott after this one. 9 years with Sean McDermott, 8 straight playoff appearances, 8 straight playoff losses. Big news, and some head coaches that the Bills might be interested in. Joe Brady, already in the situation. Who they're familiar with, Brian Daboll. Allen is really familiar with him. Brian Flores, Cliff Kingsbury, Clint Kubiak, guys like that, I could definitely see taking over for the Bills organization. And there's a lot of other teams that are in a head coaching situation right now. Teams that still need a head coach: Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, LA, Miami, Arizona, Cleveland, and Tennessee all need head coaches. Harbaugh gets hired by the Giants, as I said. Stefanski gets hired by Atlanta. And there's going to be a lot of news with that this offseason. Head coaching changes. Sean McDermott's obviously going to go somewhere, probably going to be a head coach. Ravens interview Joe Brady. So there's a lot of flipping around almost that the Bills are going to go through with coaching, potentially not having their offense coordinator, Joe Brady, maybe having to hire 3 new coaches. Who knows if Bobby Babbitt's job is safe right now after McDermott's fired. But yeah, Bills are it's going to be really rough for them this offseason with head coaching. But I think this is what the Bills need to get over the hump. Need some change in the locker room. So, yeah. We'll see you on the next segment of CCS Sportscast, as we will be answering your questions that you guys had for me.
Place where you can not only find your next new car, you can customize it exactly how you want it. Build a vehicle from one of your favorite brands. Secure rebates and incentives and expect delivery within 6 to 8 weeks. Get the keys to your ride in-store or in your own driveway and enjoy a year of complimentary Schultz Auto Care. Walk in to view our exciting inventory of vehicles arriving daily, or schedule your digital consultation online today to discover why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
Located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
Welcome back on CCS Sportscast. I'm your host, Sebby Gibbs, and I'm welcoming Pat today.
You're fine.
Yeah.
It's a big sports day. Listen,
yeah.
We're all shook, right?
Sean McDermott fired. What do you think about that?
You know, we went live a little bit ago. What do I think about it? I think that I think it's an organization that was kind of spiraling in itself as far as just leadership goes. Yeah. I think we were starting to get some mixed messages coming out of the locker room. I don't think that I'm more of a guy. It's like when you go to a situation in coaching or whatever, and you say, okay, the head coach has to go, but all the assistants and all the people that mixed up the recipe of the soup get to stay. I don't know if keeping Bean is the best rather than starting, over. You'll never know because they were very tight-lipped about it of if they were ever in disagreement about players coming in and Bean made that call and then McDermott just had to work with that. Before your dad would remember, he's a big sports guy, but before you were born, Bill Belichick was with, I think, the Patriots at the time. And his comment was, if they're going to ask you to make the dinner, they should be able to let you shop for the groceries. Yeah. And that's you'll never know that stuff. But I would have rather seen an overhaul. McDermott is himself gone. He's a nice guy. I referenced earlier, too, about I just don't think you can get him over the top.
Yeah.
I think he lost it, right? You would say that.
Yeah, I agree. 8 years with Sean McDermott at head coach. They've gone to playoffs, or 9 years, with head coach, 8 years consecutive playoffs. And they haven't gotten over the hump. And I think it's because the defense has just, in all these games that we've lost, 33 points, 42 points, 30 points, whatever it is, Bills are always in these tight games because the defense is just not playing great. I mean, in the last one, this is probably the first one that you can blame the loss on Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
4 turnovers. You can blame on Josh Allen in the offense. 5 total turnovers for the game. But I think a huge part of these games that they're losing in the playoffs is it's too close.
Mm-hmm.
Defense needs to definitely step up in the future, and I think if the defense is just going to not do well in these playoff games, why not have an offensive coach?
Right, exactly. I mean, you have to you can't give up those points, right?
Yeah.
And then not keep up. So you have to. My question is, and I don't know the finances of football or not. We've talked about this a little bit. I don't think they made any moves towards the end to protect the lineup. I noticed that Ed Oliver had come back on Saturday, and he was hurt within the first half. So my question is, how healthy was he going in? You knew that the receiver thing was a problem. Now, obviously, Gabe Davis blowing out his knee again gets thrown at you. You needed receiver help.
Yeah.
They battled back and forth between Kincaid coming back healthy. I think he played well. But I think you also, as a GM in a football organization, that's where monitoring the practice squads and the moves that are made outside of the field, right? Like trade deadline. We were rumored to be Chris Olave, missed, right? We missed on a couple of receivers.
Yeah, and we were targeting Jalen Waddle the entire time.
Didn't happen.
We wouldn't give up this year's first.
Right.
We'd only give them next year's.
Right.
And that's just
when you have a window, and they're probably Allen's 29, 30.
Yeah, the window.
You're on the teetering end of going down on your window, right?
Yeah.
Right now. So if you want to be the organization and the makeup of the organization that brings the first Super Bowl to Buffalo, you need to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. They've put themselves in a problem with cap space, I think is a little bit of an issue. But, they worked Cook out. Look at his season. Look what happened. That obviously was a truth. Hey, really quick, and I want to just touch on this. Sebby gets questions throughout the week. So I'll be your question guy. I'm going to hit you with a couple questions. You talked about it a little bit. I watched the game as well, obviously intently. You talked about Cook's, like, you gave the most, to be honest with you, Sebby, you gave the best explanation I've heard of that. Was it a catch?
I believe so. I mean, there was a similar event happening in the Rams game yesterday that Devontae Adams bobbled the ball as he was hitting the ground, but both players were on it, so simultaneously possession goes to the offense.
Yep.
They didn't call it a pick. They gave it to Devontae Adams. It was basically the same play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a blown call, and I think that Bills probably should have won that game, but I think losing that game is going to give the Bills some clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Like let them know that there's going to need some changes in the offseason because this was probably the worst Bills team in a long time.
Yeah, I think that gets – what was it at that point? It was 27-all, 30 – it was approaching 30-all or something like that. But once again, I'll go back to the point you make. You can't give up 30 points a game and then put it in the ref's hands, right? That shouldn't even be there. Right. I agree with you. I do think it was a catch. I question the process a little bit.
Yeah.
Why can you stop the game and have a guy go over to a camera and review a play and take your time and whatever? McDermott had to call a timeout just to get him to slow down a little bit to look at that, right? And I question that a little bit. I do think there will be a rule change about stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Bills become those people that the rule changes happen for. I thought Cooks came on. I thought it was a catch. I love your description of it. It was, and then they compared it back to even last year in the KC game. I think it was last year.
Where it was, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, with Xavier Worthy. Yeah, exactly. That was the opposite thing. Saw a couple posts, obviously, with social media. You're like, well, is it the team or is it the play, right? So, I mean, I'm not a person like that. I don't think there's a conspiracy theory or something like that because I do think Buffalo has I think the NFL would be better off, not that they would push this. I think everybody would have been better off if the Bills made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Just because Bills Mafia. I've traveled the country. I've traveled outside the country. There are Bills fans everywhere. I know other teams have them too, but nothing like this. So I think that cost them too. That was from Aiden. This is a two-parter. What does Buffalo need to concentrate in the offseason?
So obviously right now we need to coach.
Yeah.
We need to find the right guy.
Cart before the horse, right.
But in the offseason, once we find the right guy, we need a receiver.
Yep.
We need a receiver bad. We need a target for Allen. And that was why we weren't successful this season. We can't rely on Khalil Shakir every play. Khalil Shakir is great, but he's not a number one. He's a slot guy. Keon Coleman, I don't know if we're going to keep him, honestly.
Right.
Josh Palmer's hurt. Or Tyrell Shaver's hurt. Gabe Davis hurt. And we can't rely on these guys. I think we need to target someone that is going to change the game for the Bills.
Sure.
And I don't think we want to target the draft for wide receiver because we tried that already.
Right.
And we got Keon, which I think Keon can still have a bright future with Buffalo, but that's just they're willing to keep him and willing to develop him.
Sure.
So I think they need to target someone like A.J. Brown's on the trade block, basically. Yep. George Pickens is going to be a free agent. We need to free up money to try to get someone that can help the Bills win.
Yeah. And I would think, too, if it's possible, that from the reaction in the locker room, I think guys would be into restructuring their deals to free that money up.
Oh, yeah.
But like you say, today's January 19th. We're going to go into championship weekend where they choose to go to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the first weekend of February-ish. And then you get into the draft.
Yeah.
And then you're welcoming a new coach. And he's going to come in and handle off-season workouts. And there's that, getting used to that. And if it's not a familiar face, now you got to learn someone's new style. So I think that, and you're correct in thinking that the next couple of months, which kind of would have been, you wouldn't have heard about it much. People would squabble about the loss for a month or so. And then we'd have been, all right, where's the schedule release? Who's in the draft? Da-da-da. I think you're going to hear a lot more about the shaping because not only do they have an incredible fan base, they're going into a new stadium.
Yeah.
I think the attention on them worldwide next September will be huge. And right now everybody's looking because I don't think anybody saw this coming. I didn't see it coming. If I would say that if I did think someone was coming, I thought it would have been everybody.
Yeah, or I thought if someone was gone, Bean's gone.
Yep, I could have seen that.
At the end of the day, the team around Allen is not great.
Yeah.
Allen really just put the team on his back this season, and when he plays bad, Bills don't win.
Yep.
That's the story.
And I do think the one thing that if Bean and Allen are good at anything together, they're good at staying quiet. So I would question, was there any division along the way between the two of them about who was coming into play, what personalities, who's 100% sure that Keon Coleman becomes, a late scratch in a couple games towards the end of the season, things like that. the Cook thing, I think, was dragged out too long. There were some not picking someone up at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
You have to address needs, and if you don't address needs through your off season, through in season pickups and deletions, or your practice squads, what's going to happen is Saturday, right?
Yeah.
You get a bunch of old guys that ran out of steam. Bosa got hurt towards the end and things like that. You're going to have a bunch of guys that run out of steam, and we for the last 9 years, we haven't had to listen to too much off-season chatter. It's our turn, because I think that's all you're going to hear for the next couple of months is who comes in, who fixes what. For all we know right now, and by the way, let me say this first so we don't lock ourselves in. At this time of taping, we taped, because of the weather this week, we taped a little early this week. So Bills could have somebody
hired by the time we
already have made a decision by the time we're done today, right?
Which you said someone that is going to hire or handle like the off-season workout, someone that knows and is familiar with the program. I think that's why Joe Brady and Brian Daboll are the top candidates for this position.
I couldn't agree with you more. It makes sense, right, with the timeline that we have. And I think the fact that there was no rumor mill about one going and one staying as far as GM coach, that's key. And when these guys scatter, I mean, a lot of them have off-season homes somewhere else. Like, they'll clean out lockers probably tomorrow or today or tomorrow, be done, and go. Yeah. And wait for off-season workouts to start. And now you're going to bring in a new process. And when you bring in somebody like that, that's a change in mentality. I think the Bills' inner workings of the locker room were extremely tight. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room. They didn't have guys that were free-willing. Hey, guys, do what you got to do type thing. You've seen that with other teams that come in. But, yeah, it's a lot to do, and it's a big move to make. And you have a rabid fan base right now that's a little fired up, as we all are. We were this morning. I didn't see this coming. Maybe we are. And we've thrown out probably 15 names. Yeah. And there could be, they've already decided, but we've probably thrown out 15 names in the past 2 hours. From Rex Ryan talking about Bill Belichick to
John Gruden.
To John Gruden, right, to every coordinator and everything. And at that point, I don't know if we're there yet. So, hey, doing this with Sebby, and after watching his podcast last week, and just receiving the feedback, please keep that feedback coming, because that helps. And the reason behind CCS and CCS-TV and why it works is I love to see the story play out in the eyes of a guy like Sebby, who, by the way, just turned 13. Yep. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. So 13 years old, and he has this broken down to no end. And his podcast is going to keep going. We've talked about guests, him bringing people on, and he's got some material the next couple of weeks with the Bills, for sure. And who's winning the Super Bowl?
I think the Rams are.
Rams, okay. So you heard it here first. We have the Rams, and Nick said the who did he say? I don't even know. The Seahawks. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Defense is great, though.
Close this show up for us. Come on, you know how to do that. You're the pro here.
We'll see you next time on CCS Sportscast.
Looking to feed the family, the whole team, or just your own hungry self? Honest John's has you covered. We're talking fresh-made subs, crispy wings, and pizza so good you might just start happy dancing. Trust Honest John's for takeout, delivery, and easy online ordering, so you can get the goods without lifting more than a finger. Or stop in for our famous all-you-can-eat pizza buffet. From crispy wings to cheesy pies, Honest John's satisfies. Order now at honestjohns.pizza.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.